Hey, Gail, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
So, tell me about Small Biz Show TV first. I'm curious about that.
Okay, so Small Business Network TV, Small Biz Show, is actually it's a brainchild I had several years ago, but the platform hadn't caught up yet. So now that the platforms between YouTube and Wirecast and Blab and Periscope and all of the various streaming things have taken place, now I can implement it the way I want it. So in general, it's a platform that I use for small businesses to come onto the show to allow me to help market them. But it's a part of a larger marketing strategy. So the platform just allows them to get added exposure, while at the same time, I help them with their other online and a little offline, but mostly more online marketing. And so, okay, so I'm gonna use that as that's just like my basis. So you can ask me a question because I don't want to ramble.
Well, type in your link first of all, so if someone comes in here sees this later, they'll know where they can go see what you have going there.
Okay.
And so you said you were consulting also.
Okay, right. So last week, in fact, well, actually, so yesterday, I signed a contract with a gentleman that I met at an event, at a meetup, and he is in the real estate space. He buys and sells notes. And so he needs help with his, mainly his social media marketing, and his website isn't quite right. It doesn't really reflect what he's doing now, things like that.
Right.
And so I'm able to, give him some consulting, meaning, that's like, talk to me. I usually try to kind of help them with some strategies and ideas that they haven't thought of. Because oftentimes, especially now, if you have a brick and mortar company, or if you have, I'll say, a traditional business, a lot of times, obviously, social media and things like that are very confusing. You don't know what to do and where to start and all of that. And
actually, so, I do a show on that.
Right. Well, and that's one of the reasons why I jumped on, because like everything, I'm always learning. I don't know everything.
Yeah, that's why I asked you on. You know something about this consulting. I don't know. I've never had a consulting client.
Yeah, and so I was
curious to learn something.
And see, here's the thing. That's really the whole thing, because once upon a time, I used to try to do it all. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is, my lane really is in the connecting with people, doing the interviews, helping them to strategize, and then connecting them with how to execute. So what I've begun to do is to build a team around me that can do the execution. So I've got the internet marketing experts, the web, who people who can do the website, people who can do press releases, people who can work with you to help you build your book, or get your book published and get you authority status and things like that. So right. It's not just about me. It's about who do I have that can help you get to your goal, get to where you need to go.
So you said you met this guy. I'm going to just stop you for a second so I can get a question out I had.
Not a problem.
That you said you met this guy and you signed a contract with him. Now, where'd you get a contract for this specialty? Did you just make one up, or someone give you one and say, hey, here's what I use?
Well, I am connected with a team of other consultants or people who are in this space.
Okay.
And so I reach out to people that I know who are in this space. I have coaches, myself, who are helping to guide me, because I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that I don't leave anything out and that everybody's covered and all of that. And so I have coaches and information and people around me that can help support me.
Oh, so you had someone who did this that you work with and they were able to help you in that spot. Which is because I would think that'd be a hard thing to go to an attorney and say, I need a contract for this consulting I'm going to do about social media.
Well, actually, and I do have attorneys that do that. It's not difficult, really, but you don't really want to go to an attorney because then they're crazy. I mean, it's right. no offense to any attorneys that might be watching. But the thing is that the best way to do anything is to go to people who are already successful or in this space and say, how do I do this? Work with me. Tell me what do I need to do?
Okay, that's a great start, and just a simple common sense.
Exactly. So that's pretty much what I've done, and it works out great because the more when I was putting together the package that I was going to do for this one particular guy, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, dang, this is great. How I'll be able to service him. And not to mention the fact that in addition to, we'll make sure to put together your YouTube channel and your Twitter and all your social media, but I'm going to also interview him on Blab and on Skype, on my other platforms that I have.
So you're going to promote him yourself.
Exactly.
So when he walks right into it, you've got your own source of promotion for him.
Exactly. I mean, and as for however long that you've one through social media and two, just from being on this platform, that helps to elevate almost anybody because people who are coming across here, he will get to connect with because they're there. If they're interested in what he is sharing, then they're going to want to connect with him. So my whole job is to help promote other people and other people's businesses through the social media platforms and the marketing that I'm able to help them with.
Yeah, I've seen a little kid on here. He just got out of college, might still be in college, called Matt. I don't know if you've seen this kid. And he is on all the time. And I was watching the show the other day. He's still in college. He hadn't even started his business yet. He talks about how he wants to start his business. And people are talking to him like he's an authority already.
Yeah.
He started his business. He's just talking about an app he's going to make. And people are going, oh, you're already a celebrity on here. Everybody knows who you are. I'm going,
exactly.
24/7.
And the thing is, everybody really has an expertise in something. Okay. I mean, trust me, I've got nephews who, if they wanted to get on here and teach people how to win at these video games, they could, because that's all they've ever done, so it's not difficult. One of the things that I've done for a long time, I've done this for a really long time. I've always been very creative. And more importantly, I've had to be, because I've always had to come up with ways to generate money. And so I've been able to create, and it's one of the blabs actually I'm going to do, is how to generate money out of thin air. Because I've literally been able to do that. A lot of times I've surprised myself of how I came up with this. Like, I didn't come up with this stuff. But you do, because you got to do what you have to do. And so I started jotting down all of these various ideas that I've had that I've done to come up with money. And so when people say, oh my God, there are no opportunities out here, or, all I can do is a minimum wage job, that is not true. You really don't lack resources, you lack resourcefulness. And so what I'm hoping to do is to be able to have a platform and create products and a book where I can show people, yes, you can come. There are all kind of ways to generate revenue. And even if it's no more than this, one of my monetizations of using this platform and the platforms that I already have and in helping to market people is you have, when people come on to my show, they are purchasing a marketing package. So which includes me interviewing them. So you're literally able to monetize your interviews, not to mention helping. I think I heard you mention that you were doing podcasts. So thank you for that. I knew you could do it, but I wasn't totally sure the right way. And so you helped me. Thank you very much. Because then that podcast obviously can be downloadable audios that people can purchase, or it can be put into an audio CD set, that's a product. It can be transcribed and turned into a book.
You can take this video and make a video podcast out of it. The video.
Absolutely. And so I will never forget one of the books that I got. It was a long time ago that I'm sure he's still out doing things. His name is Mike Littman. And I purchased a book of his called Conversations with Millionaires. And what he did was exactly what you did, what you're doing. He had a radio show, and he had interviewed all these really famous people. He had Tony Robbins and Mark Victor Hansen, all kind of really, famous people. And he was talking about the fact that he was like totally dead broke, and he was going through all of this stuff, living at home, all of this. And he and his partner came up with the idea, wait a minute, we've got these audios. Why don't we turn these audios into a book? And that's what he did. And so they took the audios, they had it transcribed, they turned it into a book.
Now, I did that with my podcast, the one that helps people with brick and mortar stores.
Right.
Get into social media. I took the first 15 interviews and made that into a book.
Right. See?
Same thing. I paid someone to transcribe it.
Exactly.
Threw it into a book. And, I'm not getting rich off the book, but I sell them every day. Some sell. And it's full with all my links in the back. To me, that's the real beauty of an ebook.
Exactly.
Is that you make a relationship in the book.
Yep.
And at the end, you can say, hey, if you like what you saw here, look at all these other things I got that may be of interest to you.
Exactly. And the thing is, you're like so totally correct. It's not about how many book sales you get, but then what you do with it, because all of that can also become a course that can turn into a workshop, that can turn into coaching programs for you to teach other people. That's where you make the bigger money.
I'll tell you the thing we're doing that you might find interesting is on the 24th of October. I think we're doing a 1 day from 8 to 5 course on podcasting.
Yes,
for 25 people. Exactly. $1 is what we're charging. $1 to get in.
Okay.
But we're going to film all that and make a course out of it.
Yes.
And sell that course, because we're going to do a real detailed, we're doing it from like 8 to 5. I mean, we're going to have a real detailed course. When you walk in the door, you can know nothing about podcasting. When you leave, you're an expert. You've actually done one. You've, everything you need to know. As to whether you follow up's up to you, but you know everything. But that information is going to be so valuable because people are going to ask us questions that the common Joe would ask that we might not have thought of.
Right.
That we might go, gosh, we thought everybody knew that, because you don't see those kind of questions when you're into something so deep. It's like every time I speak somewhere, when I get through speaking, there might be something I skimmed over, and people will come after me words and go, you talked during that about A. I really didn't understand that. I'm going, gosh, I thought that was like the most basic thing. That's why I didn't spend. I'm thinking that.
Right.
That's why I didn't cover it, because I thought everybody knew A.
Exactly.
So but you sometimes when you're into it, you can't see A because you're looking at D and E and G.
Right. Exactly. One of the things that you said to the other gentleman, I think that I really liked, and I'm going to use is when you're like, for instance, when you're on this platform and say, for instance, you ask the question, hey, what do you know what a podcast is? Or, what do you think is the best use of a podcast? And when people start, or ask me a question of what, or any question that you have on a podcast. So let's say, and then people start asking you questions and you start answering them. Well, then, as you said, you can take those questions because, as you said, a lot of times you think it's obvious, but it's not necessarily. Or people come up with questions that you said, I never thought of that. But now you can get to see what kinds of things are people asking, what kinds of things that I can answer. And now you can take those questions and turn it into an entire course, right. Because you have the answers to those. So now you can turn that into a whole course, a whole workshop, into coaching.
And what's so good about Blab is those people are asking those questions on the side that you might not even have thought to ask.
Exactly.
And you didn't even think about it. And you go, oh, gosh, that's a good question. Just like the A.
Exactly.
So people didn't know that A. Okay, well, hey, what's the A? And then that's what is good about this medium. I think for interviews, this is like a great medium.
Exactly.
I do all my interviews on here now for both of my podcasts. This is just the best. Even people who are 70 years old can get on here and figure out how to come see you.
Exactly.
There are a lot of starting startups to try to do things like this that weren't this easy, but for easier ways to communicate and do interviews that just got killed by this thing.
Yes, I totally
charge a monthly fee. I mean, they all got wiped out right now. I can tell you that.
Wait a minute, say that again.
There are a lot of social platforms that are being built to interview. And I do a podcast conference, the world's largest podcast conference. And at our conference, a lot of the people who bought tables, a good share of them, had interview interfaces for interviewing people. Okay. And so it was like their big thing was, oh, this is so easy. You send them a link. They don't have to get on Skype. They don't. And basically, they had another version of this, but you had to pay a monthly fee.
Right.
Well, they just got killed because now there's a version of what they're doing that's free.
Okay, I got you. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And plus the positive of the interviews, the comments on the right. So there are a lot of startups that were making something that kind of got killed on there.
Right.
That's your link?
Well, last week when I did my first Blab, it was really cool. And I invited people to come. Okay, I'm an organizer of a meetup. And so this month...
Where at?
I'm sorry?
Where at?
Oh, I live in Maryland. So we meet up here in Maryland. And we meet once a month. So what I did was I turned that once a month meetup into a Blab. I just told everybody,
we're doing that at our next meetup.
Right. Good. Yeah. See.
Matter of fact, and then October 13th, I'm giving a talk to another meetup group about using Blab for your podcast.
Right.
Like I was saying to do, and we're going to Blab to talk about using Blab.
Right. Right. So exactly.
It's going to be a Blab about Blab.
A Blab about Blab.
And a Blab about using Blab.
Yeah. So what we did was I invited people to come on. And so I started interviewing the people that were there. But the really great part was, as you just mentioned, there were a couple other people that had come to watch. And so I said, look, hey, come on in. Why don't you come jump in? And he did. He was also not a social media guy, but he sold on Amazon. He sold products on Amazon. But he was from Turkey, but he lived in Belgium. And so, I mean, I had an international Blab going on. And as the other gentleman said, like Gary said, I would not have met that guy otherwise, And so that's the other thing. And again, it's a great platform because, you guys were talking about the know, like, and trust factor. And it's great because, as you said, now you can see the person. So you can see them, you can feel their energy, even coming through this platform. You can kind of get an idea of, hey, do I like that person or not?
People in general, you and I, everybody form their opinions about somebody from facial expressions. It's something that's like, it's been happening since cavemen. Look at different facial points in your mind, whether you want to believe it or not. Right. I believe your mind is making an impression, even if you go, nope, you can't judge a book by its cover. Maybe you can't, but your mind is kind of saying, hey, don't trust this person.
That's right.
This person wants to take your money.
That's right.
Be careful. Or, gosh, this guy's great. You can get some information. You can trust in that stuff. And there are people who, the great con men of the times, are the ones who can put on that face that fooled your inner self.
Exactly.
And got money because your body said, oh, this person's real trustworthy. And those are the great con men.
Exactly.
This stuff happens automatically.
Yeah.
Forming a relationship, forming an opinion. It's whether you want to or not. A lot of it has to do with how you were raised as a kid. And the input, your computer, I call your mind a computer, it's been pumped with input, in my case, for 60 years.
Right.
So this input that's gone into the computer has a lot to do with the data that's coming out.
Exactly.
But it's happening automatically is what I'm saying.
I mean, it just is. That's just how we are. I think that's just how we function as humans. That's the first thing because that's the first contact is what we see. And you begin to formulate opinions based on what you see. And
I had a young guy on here about 27 or something yesterday. I was on his show. He asked me to come in. Sometimes I don't think people realize what they're doing when they get me in their show there, but they asked me 2 or 3 times to come in. I'll come in finally.
Right.
And he had all these books behind him, all these videos, all these DVDs of all these courses he'd taken and, Robinson and all these things, and I was kind of like, he was like, what do you listen to as I said, I used to listen to a lot of that stuff when I was your age. I haven't listened to any of that stuff in a long time, but I think it's because you're just pumping yourself with your information now, that you're programming your computer.
Right.
By listening to that, he's self-programming his computer.
Right. Exactly.
I started programming a long time ago, you know, so I'm not programming myself anymore. Now I'm putting in the actualization, the information I put in there to program myself.
Right. That's good. Well, I would love for you to come on my show because you talk about social media and.
Oh, sure. I love me. I have been on so many, like that guy, Gary, he knew me from other podcasts he listened to. I have been interviewed thousands of times.
Okay. Terrific. So then
this niche, not many people know me, but in my niche, everybody knows me. I mean, you know,
right.
So yeah. So
okay. So talk to me. What aspect of social media do you teach or do? I mean, obviously, I know podcasting.
Yeah, I don't teach. I just am doing this just for fun.
You just okay. I got you.
Yeah, I'm a guy who's been doing social media since there wasn't social media, and I know pretty much a little bit about everything. But podcasting is my main niche.
Right.
But I do run 450 Facebook groups. So I consider myself an expert on Facebook.
Okay, terrific.
I'm going to take that back. I don't consider myself an expert on anything, but I consider I have some knowledge on Facebook groups.
Okay.
You know, I really have a big thing with that expert clause because I see someone saying, oh, I'm an expert at this thing, and then I'll look, and they got 5,000 followers. Well, to me, that just means you know how to use it. If you're an expert, I have 100,000 followers on my Facebook page, and I really try not to say I'm an expert, and I do slip up once in a while. But to me, you got to have enough on there. If you're an expert, you should have way more than the regular person. Not a little more, not as much, but way more. If you're going to be an expert, best way to prove it is by what you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay.
And I think the sheer fact that I am able to run 450 groups kind of gives me more insight into groups than a lot of people have.
Yeah, you do. Because how do you run 450?
That's what the first thing everybody asks.
Oh, yeah. I was like, how do you?
And how I monetize it.
Yes.
And it's not hard to run, and I monetize it very well.
Okay.
But I'm already monetizing this. I have another show. My real deal is Fast Pitch Softball. I have another channel that's Fast Pitch TV, and I sell products on there. And actually, people order them from me. But I'll hold up a bat and I'll say, here's a review of the bat. It's called Deal of the Day, Softball Deal of the Day.
Okay.
And it comes on around 1 o'clock or so every day. And we put out a deal of the day. I'll go, this bat was $200. Today is $100 for 24 hours. When the show starts tomorrow, deal of the day is gone. And people go up and they buy stuff.
Okay. See, yes, I have to have you on because you're the prime example of what I'm talking about. Anybody can do that. They just
anyone can do that.
Right. So
especially a brick and mortar person, they got lots of stuff around there. They're going, man, I bought these. I can't get rid of them. Well, you want to blow them out? Put them on deal of the day.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that
takes a little while to get an audience, but my Fast Pitch Softball audience on Blab is only 50 people. And I sell a deal of the day every day.
Right. And so you don't necessarily have to have 100,000 people to do well.
If you did have 100,000, well, you could crank out some deals of the day.
But but the thing is, one of the things that I normally share with people is this. Someone says, hey, all I need is enough people. Yeah. And I said, okay, I want you to think about this. Say you have a crowd of 1 million people, 1 million hungry, starving people.
I'm going to make some money if I have that crowd.
Well, wait a minute. See, it all depends. Because you got a crowd of 1 million people, and they are hungry. They are like, oh my God, I am starving. And you walk in and you say, man, here, I got this steak shop and I'm going to sell y'all steak. But here's the problem. That 1 million people that's starving, they're all vegans. You ain't going to make no money.
No, that's true. That's
true.
Okay.
So
I agree with you 100%. I have said that one of the big things in podcasting, that's a great point. And here's an example of it in podcasting. In podcasting, they all believe, for some reason, the majority of people believe you have to do commercials like NPR. Okay. Oh, and while I'm here, let me tell you, I also offer a course on this. And you can find out more at mycourse.com. And that's all they want to say.
Right.
I throw commercials in there. I throw 30-second commercials in there. I throw one at 5 minutes into the show. And now we'll be back with the interview right after this word from our sponsor. And it's a commercial for my website.
Right.
Then when the interview is over, they get the whole 40-minute interview. Then we go to another commercial. Then back to me and I do my outro. Thanks for watching the show, blah, 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 blah. And people say, oh, that's terrible. They won't watch the rest of your show because you have a commercial. And my response is, I don't care. If they don't want to see my commercial, I don't care if they watch my show, because the whole purpose of my show is for people to see my commercial.
Exactly.
I would rather have 500 people who like my show and don't mind watching my commercials, because then they could buy something, than a million people who go, I like the show, but I'm not going to watch it because he had a commercial.
Exactly.
I don't want those people.
Exactly.
Do all that for free? I mean, it's a lot of work.
Right. Exactly.
So I agree. So I always tell people that I'd rather have 500 people that want to see my commercial than a million that don't.
That don't. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
why my email. If you do want to interview me, you can send me a message and tell me what time the Blab.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I got to go. My shows that I open the store and in like 20 minutes, people start showing up for work.
Oh, okay. Where are you
to do this?
Where are you?
I'm in Texas.
Okay. Which
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Dallas. Okay. I say Texas is huge. So where?
It's as we say here, it's the biggest state, even though it's not. But we still claim it.
I will follow you and I will email you. I would love to have you on. Yeah. People will love to hear from you.
Well, my email is Gary Leeland at Gmail. It's pretty easy.
Got you.
Just Gary Leeland. Just send me an email. I actually, like I said, I enjoy doing interviews better than I do my own shows, because I just like talking with people.
Well, that is great.
That's kind of my deal, is podcasting, making money. You know, I wake up every morning going, how am I going to make some money today? That's my goal.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, a lot of people are into this things that we can't really want to make money, that we're going to make it, but it's a byproduct of being nice. I go out and try to make money. Not going to be mean to anyone, not going to do anyone wrong, but I'm going to make some money.
I'm going to make some money. I love it. I love it, Gary. Well, I appreciate that. And I am going to, I'm just putting your email in there so I can remember it. And, okay. And then, yes, I will connect with you, because I would like to do it. I want to have a podcast on Mondays called Make More Money Mondays. And so you would fit right in with that.
Oh, that's a good topic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
I like those double, I like those.
Yeah. So terrific. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Hey, not a problem. I can go work out now because I look a mess. So sorry about that.
No problem. I understand. Believe me, it's early. It's early wherever you're at this time of day. Nice talking with you. Nice meeting you, Gail.